Good morning everyone, welcome back to another video. I am starting my day today just getting some fresh air on the balcony. The air is very still, so the noise from traffic is definitely spreading, but it's still such a beautiful, cool morning, and I'm trying to do this a little bit more to come out and start my day getting some fresh air. I just pulled a card from the Saltwater Reading Cards deck, which is one of my favorites. It's by Laura Bowen, and I love all of Laura's creations and her artwork and the way she writes. So today I pulled the Endurance card, which is definitely something that I can relate to right now. But in today's video, I wanted to just take you around on my day today, maybe tomorrow as well. I don't know, I just felt like picking up the camera today. I have a few things that I want to get done in the garden and the flower farm. I thought I might also just sit down and do a bit of a catch up with the flower farm and what's happening and just some of the struggles that I'm having with that at the moment, and kind of just do a little bit of a check-in of how I'm feeling. And I don't know, there's lots going on in life, and I just wanted to do a little bit more of a slower paced vlog today. So I'm going to finish planning my day. I have this planner, it's very pretty and it's from Etsy and I absolutely love it. I love weekly planners. I don't like them to be too kind of hectic, but this one is nice and simple. It just has like the 7 days of the week, and then it's got like weekly trackers for certain things, to-do lists, priorities. So I've been really enjoying this and trying to start my day just getting a to-do list of things that I need to do. And one of those things that I need to do is head down to the garden and check up on all of the seedlings that I planted in a previous video. All of those brassicas, I need to check up on those because I am having a little bit of a slug problem. I know a lot of other people are right now, and I am one of those people. So I did set some traps for them last night and also the night before. So I'll take you down and let's see what the slug situation is today. So I've kind of been expecting some slug populations with all of this rain that we've been having. So I've been trying to test out a few DIY remedies or solutions to dealing with slugs. A few days ago, I firstly went around all of the brassica seedlings and just put some coffee grounds around them to see if that worked. And like I had a few eggshells as well, tested that out. I think the eggshells are definitely working coffee grounds. They don't seem to mind, and they will still kind of, slide over them to the plants. So then I did a bit of Googling and looked up a recipe just to make like your own homemade beer traps, I suppose, where you just add like flour, sugar, yeast and water and mix it all up, and I just put that in containers around the yard. I think with that it could have worked. My yeast that I have I think was just a little old because I had some left over that I didn't end up using, and I don't think it was very active. So then we tried the beer traps and that has seemed to work. This is the second morning now that I've come down to check them. I refilled them last night just using like really cheap beer that we could find. And most of the traps have some slugs in them, which is good to kind of just like reduce the populations a little bit. I think they're still eating the plants and I'm still getting some damage, but at least the overall population is declining. And I'm really hoping that the frogs and the birds can also do their thing when the slugs are on the move and deal with populations. But I will show you just what the situation is at the moment. So you can see in here, this is where I have some kohlrabi planted. I have a few ones with eggshells around. They have always looked really good, so that's a plus. We just don't have that many eggshells though. We don't go through that many eggs. But yeah, a lot of the other ones are just kind of being slowly eaten by slugs, but at a reduced rate now, I feel. So this is one of the traps. It's a bit disgusting, so if you don't like slugs, look away right now. But I can see quite a few in there, which is good. Actually, some really large ones. And I just kind of cut the base of a soy milk container, and I'm using that. And I just have other containers that I've saved from takeaway, and also just like the cat food tin. I also planted some onions in this area, which is new. Did that yesterday. They're the really small ones, but hopefully they do okay. But I can kind of just see, like, I mean, I can see this wasn't like this yesterday. So luckily I have a lot more that I haven't already planted, so I do have some spares. But yeah, this is an ongoing problem that we seem to be dealing with. I also set a few more down here. I think that one has one in there. That brassica is completely gone, that broccoli, as is that cabbage. Still have a few going okay. Bandicoots dug up some onions, that's nice, and then some more caught in there. And I have set a few behind the shed as well, but these didn't catch any last night or the night before. And I don't think we have a really large problem down here with slugs. I think we actually have a problem with birds instead. I've been watching from the kitchen window sometimes. I see some female bowerbirds down here, and I think the male ones as well, but mainly just the females. And they actually eat brassica leaves, so that's just another thing to deal with. I'm going to just see how the plants go over the next few days, and if I'm still having this problem, I think I'm just going to move that net that I have over the anemones onto the other side of the bed, and that will stop the bird problem. Alternatively, I could have planted the seedlings a little bit bigger and like potted them on, but because I had so many and I didn't really want to just put in a lot of money for potting mix, I didn't. So, but yeah, in hindsight, I probably could have put some of the seedlings out when they were a little bit larger. But like I said, I still do have heaps that are still continuing to grow, so I should be able to fill in all of the gaps from where the slugs and the birds have got my crops. I think while I'm down here, I may as well show you the flower farm and have a little bit of a chat about what's going on down there. And I also have some anemones that have started to almost flower, which is very exciting. It's kind of hard to see because of the net, but there are a few flowers that are popping up. Not enough to be able to actually harvest, but you can kind of see that one bloom popping up there, which is very exciting, and that just means that they're not too far off, really. The plants are all looking really good in terms of just how much rain we've had. They're all looking really nice and healthy, and I think all they need is just a little bit more sun and dry weather, and we should get some flowers really soon. That's probably the most exciting thing happening right now. It is, yeah, it's been challenging. I don't know whether you can tell how wet the ground is here, and my boots have a few holes in them, which is unfortunate, but it is just so it is so muddy and so hard to work and plant with all of this rain. And I know I've been talking about it so much, but it's just what we're dealing with. It's just so much rain. But here's a little overview of the flower farm right now. I might talk you through my plans for this space, and also just like how I'm feeling about it, because I'm a little bit not overwhelmed, but just kind of struggling with ideas, and just trying to wrap my head around it. So we do have a really nice looking row of ranunculus here. I purposefully planted these at the top of the flower farm because they get the most sun. The sun is going like that way at the moment, so the highest part of the flower farm is going to get the most sun, which is fantastic. And I need that because in previous years my ranunculus have had really bad powdery mildew, so I wanted a nice long bed that's not in and amongst other beds or too close to other plants so that the plants can get enough air. But they are all putting on a lot of growth actually, and I am really excited for these. These are just a mix, so I think there's about 5 different colours in there. And then I have half a bed or half a row of anemones, again, that are looking really sad because of all of the rain. A lot of them are looking quite yellow actually, but we are slowly getting flowers. So I'm hoping if we can have some dry weather, I can give these a really good feed, because I think that the nutrients has leached out of a lot of these garden beds. I'm hoping that'll do the trick. And I also have a few more ranunculus planted here. And then I have started my plantings of stock. So I have quite a few planted throughout here, just as much as I could do where the beds weren't really weedy. I just put some cardboard over those. And these are all the column stock, and I've tried to select a lot of the seedlings as doubles, so hopefully we'll get quite a few doubles and not singles, but we'll see how we go. I was actually planting these the other day, and the soil in here is looking fantastic after I amended it with horse manure, added some leaves, sugarcane mulch, and it probably does have quite a few worm castings in there as well. And then there's another bed in there that I've also planted with stock, so I'll show you that. This was planted only a few days ago, and I just had leaves covering this, but there was a lot of growth of mycelium underneath the leaves, which is fantastic, and that's what I want in this area, because I wasn't seeing a lot of worm activity. But if I do have mycelium, that just means that it is helping to start that breakdown of soil and increase biodiversity in the soil, which hopefully will encourage lots of microorganisms, and then that will encourage the worms. So that is all of those there. And then I have some stardust planted there, and some just green manure of some peas and a little bit of buckwheat to add in some nutrients there. So yeah, that is kind of what everything is looking like right now. There's not too much else to show. The king parrots are really happy right now, so that's what you can hear in the background. But yeah, I wish there was more to show, but yeah, this is what we've got right now. I feel like this is not going to be very level because the ground I'm on is very not level. But I wanted to sit down just for a little bit and have a bit of a chat about the plans for this flower farm, and just kind of have a little bit of a heart to heart, I suppose. Hopefully this lighting is okay. The sun is kind of trying to peek out, but trying very, very hard. But yeah, basically my mental health lately hasn't been optimal, and I think that's just due to a lot of changes that are going on in my life right now. I'll probably be about almost 22 weeks pregnant when you'll be seeing this, and I haven't really done much pregnancy updates on this channel. I have done a full first trimester recap, and I've been vlogging over on Patreon if you want to see more of the pregnancy side of things, and also just what we get up to on our day-to-day life. But in terms of making content, flower farming, I've been struggling a little bit here on YouTube, and obviously I'm in a very fortunate position, like I do know that, but yeah, things have just been a little bit difficult, and I think it's just because of kind of like a little bit of an identity shift that I'm having, and working through not being able to physically do everything that I used to do. And change is kind of difficult. I mean, change is kind of hard for everyone. It is the one constant in the world, though, that things are going to change, and sometimes that change can be a little difficult. So I've been really trying to slowly plant out this flower farm, but honestly, just planting some of those rows of stock, it took me like almost 2 hours, one of them, to do, because I was just getting so out of breath. My back was kind of starting to hurt a little bit, and I'm just adjusting to my body changing and growing and learning how to have breaks a little bit more. And so that means that I can't really be planting out this flower farm as quick as I would have, which means that the content is a lot slower. Sometimes the YouTube algorithm does not favor that at all, and it's very difficult to kind of plan and know what does well when certain videos do really well and then others don't, even though they're kind of like the same kind of videos. Obviously, as the creator, I have the most power to be able to make a video do well or not in terms of the production value and the content, but sometimes it is a little bit hard when some videos do better than others. And anyway, what I'm just trying to say is that I'm trying to find my new niche of content on YouTube, because I know what does well is pumping out lots of bouquets and harvesting and flowers and market vlogs, and that's not really the content that I'm going to be able to really focus on in the next few months. So naturally I just get a bit concerned about where the content is going and the value that I can provide here on YouTube, because I don't want to be like a family vlogging channel or anything like that, but I am just probably going to be sharing more kind of slower living vlogs here on YouTube. And I mean, without the flower farm, that's a definite like dip in income as well, which I've also just been trying to navigate, because the flowers were bringing in a good amount of money week by week. And I'm now trying to reframe how I can still do that while being pregnant, and potentially then while, you know, having a newborn, whether or not it is actually possible to continue flower farming and doing this, because it's something that I really don't want to stop. I really love doing it, and it just really feeds my soul. So I've been reframing how I'm going to do things, and I really just thought about it and went back to all of my old videos about when I was talking about what I would do differently, the lessons I've learned and things like that. And I really just need to listen to myself a little bit more and really simplify this flower farm for myself, which is going to both feed my soul by having flowers. It's not going to be as diverse in terms of the flowers that I'm going to be growing, but I'm choosing just a few varieties to grow, and I'm going to try and grow a good amount of them so that I can have that income and also be able to be down here working in the flower farm, which is something that I love to do. So that's why I have things like, I have a whole row of ranunculus right now, and this afternoon I'm going to be potting up some more trays of stock flower to hopefully plant another 2 beds of those. And I also have about 3 or so trays of status that I'm going to be planting, and I have all those feverfew cuttings that I took from another video, and that's about it for now. That's all I'm going to be doing. I'm really going to be just growing the flowers that I know grow well in this area, and the bouquets aren't going to look as colourful and as diverse in terms of the types of flowers, but I'm hoping I can still just put together some bunches of ranunculus or some bunches of status, which I know really do sell well, so that I can keep doing this, because I really want to. It's also going to allow me to have Scott help out a little bit more. He has been so supportive throughout this whole time and has really been my rock in terms of just supporting my mental health and getting me through all of these changes. I mean, he's going through a lot of changes as well with preparing for a newborn. So, you know, he's got his own challenges. But it will allow me for him to be able to come and harvest bunches if I don't physically feel like I can, and also be able to plant a row of flowers, because I know once he, you know, learns how to plant 1 or 2 flowers, he can then just listen to a podcast and do the whole row. And that's how he prefers to help me in the garden, is just by kind of like observing how to do something, and then he really likes his alone time and just work and enjoy his time out in nature. Something that's also been a little difficult for me is just social media in general. I have such a funny relationship with social media where I'm constantly wanting to be involved and have a community on like Instagram, and be more involved on like YouTube community tab and things like that, and then also just wanting to like be a social recluse a lot of the time and step away from all of that and have a break and kind of just live my little hermit life that I usually live. I'm a very introverted person, and putting myself out there is quite difficult. It's actually taken me so long to actually come and sit down and film this kind of video, because I was just second guessing myself all the time about, like, I don't even know what I'm thinking. Coming down here was making me feel upset rather than happy, because it's just in the state that it is right now. Of course, I know it's winter as well, but we can actually grow a lot throughout winter here, so I don't necessarily have to have all these tarps on. It's just because I haven't physically been able to weed the garden and move soil and mulch and things like that. Coming back to the social media side of things, I say that just because, I struggle with, putting myself out there and doing daily posts and things like that, which then, gains more followers and more exposure for my business, selling the flowers, and people finding my YouTube channel. And I find I get burnt out by even just, having an hour or two of scrolling on my phone. So it's also hard to, be in a world where that's how you do grow your business and your presence online, to gain things like sponsorships and all of that, which I haven't done on this channel, and is really another world of YouTube that I'm yet to navigate. My camera died while I was talking through that last point. But what I was saying, I don't really know if that's going to be the future of the channel, to start working with brands that align with me, to be able to continue doing this and doing YouTube while running a flower farm. We also have a lot of life changes that are happening other than becoming a mum. We have a lot of things, like in terms of moving and logistics of all of that. So what I'm just trying to say with this little chat that I wanted to sit down with is, my content might just be a little bit up and down over the next few months. And I do also really appreciate any feedback that you have on what videos you do like to see. I know a lot of people just like the garden tours and seeing what the garden is looking like. That's definitely something that I can do quite a lot of, because I also like just taking my camera around and sharing what's going on. It's a really good resource for me as well. And I really do have that pull to keep making flower farming content. Like I really want to keep doing that and keep planting and growing flowers and harvesting and being really busy with all the markets. But I'm really learning to just step back a little bit from that, and that's just going to take me a little bit of time. So working on my mental health to just do other things that also fulfill me. I've been slacking on the podcast a little bit because I just haven't had the mental bandwidth to sit down and chat through a podcast and edit that, but I'm hoping to step that up in future. I'm going to record an episode with Scott, and we're going to have a kind of a similar chat like this, a bit of a heart-to-heart about where we're going in the next few years in terms of our plans, moving, all of that kind of stuff, because behind the scenes there's a lot of other stuff that we're trying to navigate and just trying to figure out what to do with our lives, basically, where we want to go, what kind of business we want to run, there's a lot to think about. So thanks for sitting through this little chat with me. I'm going to spend the rest of the day just pottering about, so I'll take you around. I don't know whether I want to prune the hydrangea today or not. I'll see how I feel, but I do need to pot up some stock seedlings, so I need to make some potting mix. You've seen in a lot of vlogs, but it's a job that I regularly do, so it's something that I need to do today. And maybe just do some baking, hang out with the cats. I tried to include a few little clips of the cats in this video because I know a few of you really like to see the cats. So Annie and Rocky had some snuggles this morning, and we went out on the balcony and it was really nice. And they've been so wonderful throughout my ups and downs of navigating change. But I think I'm just going to sit here for a bit and enjoy the birds, the fresh air, no rain for once, and then go do a few jobs to keep on top of things. I managed to finish potting up those seedlings into that tray, so I'm feeling good about that. I've got that tray and then another one that's a little further ahead of some more stock that can go in the ground probably in 1 to 2 weeks, probably 2 weeks I'll plant those out. So I've been going good at keeping like a succession going and keeping it manageable for myself. I like to kind of have 2 to 3 trays on rotation at a time, and that way it doesn't overwhelm me, and then I don't have like 5 of those massive trays to plant out all at once. I can kind of stagger the planting, which works really well for me at the moment. And then it also allows me to actually go and amend the beds and slowly work on those as well, rather than just doing everything at once. I can just slowly potter away in my flower farm and work at a pace that works for me right now. So I think I might actually end this vlog here, although before I go, I do have one update for you, that my snow peas have finally sprouted, which I'm so happy about, so I'll show you that. So I planted these a few videos ago and I was a little worried that they wouldn't actually germinate because it was too cold, but it's fine. They've all come up, which is great. Most of them have germinated. So you can see all of these little green shoots here, and I'll put the name of these snow peas on the screen, but they don't get too large, hence why I don't have a really tall trellis. This is just like a meter. I think they grow to max 1.2 meters or 90 centimeters, but a trellis this size will be perfectly fine. And I think I've seen the first of my potato sprouts as well. I'm yet to see any in these containers, and I do have to cover them at night just in case the bandicoot rummages around. But I think in these, I think that is potato sprout. I don't want to dig down too far and disturb it, but I think we are almost going to be having the potatoes sprout probably this week. I'm hoping a lot of them also pop up, which is very exciting to see. I did an order last night with the seed collection and bought a few veggie seeds for spring and summer, so when they arrive I'll definitely share what I'm growing. I am just so excited for growing food this season, and so is Scott, which is really nice. So we kind of sat down together and looked through all of the seeds, and he chose some and I chose some, and it was really, really nice. So I'm really excited to get sowing of all the spring and summer crops, because the plan is to try and grow as much as we can here, it being probably the last summer that we have here, depending on how things go with the move next year. So I'm really excited to see how much we can grow. But thank you so much for joining me today on this video. I know it wasn't a lot of gardening involved, but I just felt like I needed to do a little bit of a catch up with you all. And like always, I don't mean for these vlogs to be like negative in any way. It's just the reality of, you know, what I'm feeling and what we're going through and things that we're focusing on as our lives change. And documenting that here on YouTube has always been something that I've done, so I like to just sprinkle a few of these videos in and amongst all of the garden with me videos and compost and flower farming content as well. So I think next video I'm going to tackle that hydrangea up the back there and just do a few more little garden jobs around the place. So there's a lot of areas that need weeding, so yeah, I'll try and do a garden with me vlog for the next video. Like always, if you would like to support me and the channel, you can like this video and subscribe. That really does help me out and helps to push these videos as well. Or you can follow me over on Instagram. Can't promise I'm going to be too active over there, but I do try and just post now and then of things that are happening. I also do have an online shop that I'm going to try and put a little bit more effort into, so you can purchase just like botanical gifts on there. I want to try and get some seeds up and just maybe make a few other things that I can stock on the website. That's always a fantastic way to support us, and you get something in return as well. Or I do have my Patreon, like I said before, where I share extra content, and there's heaps of vlogs and heaps of content over there that doesn't make it to here on YouTube. But if you do want to support me, then you can see extra videos over there. I'm also thinking about maybe doing like a monthly chat over there on Zoom or something, where we can just sit down and have a chat about gardening or what's going on in our lives. So yeah, I want to try and do that as well. But thank you so much for being here and watching this video. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next one, happy gardening everyone.